broke the law by disclosing confidential taxpayer information approximately 42,695 times to Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Judge Carla Catelli found that the IRS had erroneously shared the taxpayer information with the DHS for the purpose of identifying and deporting people illegally in the U.S. The Trump administration is appealing the case, but in no other way is the Trump administration appealing. Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei said Thursday the artificial intelligence company cannot in good conscience accede to the Pentagon's demands to allow wider use of its technology. Amodei said they are not walking away from negotiations, but that the new contract language received from the Defense Department made virtually no progress on preventing DoD from using Anthropic's AI for mass surveillance of Americans or in fully autonomous weapons, such as self-driving cars. Oh, that's Tesla. Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton spent more than 6 hours in a closed-door deposition Thursday facing questions from the House Oversight Committee as Republicans pretend to investigate convicted sex offender and disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein. After the 6-hour deposition, Clinton said, "I don't know how many times I had to say I did not know Jeffrey Epstein. I never went to his island. I never went to his home. I never went to his offices." On Friday, former President Bill Clinton will take questions from the committee, depending on what the definition of questions is. Paramount Skydance emerged victorious in the bidding war for Warner Bros. Discovery after Netflix said it wouldn't match the David Ellison-led company's latest offer for the iconic Hollywood property. Once the merger is complete, the DC characters will rent space on their capes to advertisers. This has been the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll with headlines and punchlines for February 27, 2026, the 403rd day of the Sex Offender Administration. Join me live at the Church of Last Resort Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern Time on MindDog TV.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host or guest and should not be interpreted as statement of fact. Independent fact-checking and corrections are encouraged.
Get a cup of coffee in here, please.
They know we were live.
Damn good coffee.
Yeah.
And hot.
Okay, push a button. Try push a button.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Another button. That's a happy.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with the Dog. You make me laugh.
Oh, do I? I make you laugh. Freezing, but it will get above freezing. Next hour. Good morning, folks. It's Friday. It's Friday, February 27th, 2026. We're almost done with February. Just a few more weeks of February. Today's the 27th. I don't know if you're aware of this, but they cut it short on a couple of days. So tomorrow's the last day of February, and then March comes in like a lion. I'm not lying, and it's just gonna stay a lion. This winter is never gonna go away. So you see, I'm cold here. I have neuropathy. If you don't know what neuropathy is, it's a fancy way of saying nerve damage. And my right hand is freezing cold, make it very difficult to work. And of course, the heat, there was never any heat in this part of the building. It used to be a garage, and there was no heat in here. There's no heat. And I had a personal portable heater, but that burnt out. And now I'm cold. And you know, those guys in the background, they don't fucking care. They really don't. They have snowplow fucking, and it's got nice heat in there, snowplows. Anyway, you probably, if you like Blind Mike, and I'm sure you are like Blind Mike, you don't get GD's joke about, or the Rev's joke. I'm sorry. Well, GD wrote the joke about the definition of what questions is, and you know, what does he mean by that? Because you had to be alive for it, and you probably weren't. So there's that. I have. I'm getting my mind blown. You see? Can you see my mind getting blown? Besides that, I have to get my nose blown. Anyway, get my mind blown by this Fetterman and Carl Sagan thing. And last night, Fetterman, who's been dead for 38 years, he was telling me, just me, we have a conversation, and he's telling me that about ancestors. How long do you think we have to go back before we're all related? How far back do you think we have to go? It's not that far. You know, a little spoiler alert here. You know, you have 2 parents, then you have 4 grandparents, and you have 8 great grandparents, and then you have 16 great grandparents, and you just go back. And it's not like all that far back till you get to the point where the number of ancestors you have personally outnumbers the population of Earth, meaning every single person alive shared the same ancestors at some point. Like, and I think it's like, I forget. I was going to watch the video again this morning with a fresh brain. You know, fresh brain. I just got a new brain delivered this morning. But I think it's less than 1,000 years where you go back and you have like because it's doubling every like 20 years. Every generation is doubling. And it's not long before you get to like 1 million. And then you look at what the population of Earth was, and it wasn't 1 million people. So that means every one of us is related. The bad news, Donald Trump is a distant cousin, or maybe not even a distant cousin. And that bothers me. I don't want to be related to that fuck. But there it is. I don't know. It's a terrible way to start a Friday. Anyway, the other part of what he was saying is, and this, at some point, every single one of us is breathing in the remnants of Julius Caesar. It tastes a little Caesar-y. Caesar salad, Caesar. I don't know. I came to Caesar berry, not to praise it. Anyway, he's just blowing my mind. Him and Carl Sagan. Sometimes people should remain dead, but not really. Anyway, there's one last thing before I bring these snowplow dudes in to the room to just plow me over. I'm working on a music video. Speaking of bringing back the dead, and it's ironic because the name of the video is "Don't Let Me Cross Your Mind," but it is how I would like to be remembered. It's me at 19 years old, and AI has got me alive again. Like, hey, so it feels like I'm creating a legacy so I can exit stage right. That's what it feels like. But it's just ironic that I wrote this song called "Don't Let Me Cross Your Mind," and I never imagined that the video might be exactly how I would like to cross people's minds after I'm gone, how I would like to be remembered. So there's that, whatever that means. So I'm doing a phenomenon on my own Carl Saganism, if you know what I mean. Phenomism, whatever. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Wine Express, if I could. Can I tell you a little bit about Wine Express? I don't know. I really probably can't. I really shouldn't, because you're you've drank enough wine, I think, just because you're here, right? Oh, that sounds a little whiny. I hate to be a whiner. Let me tell you about Wine Express. See, WineExpress.com is the exclusive wine shop partner of the Wine Enthusiast. The Wine Enthusiast catalog and website, which have been providing quality wine and accessories and storage for 40 years. During that time, they've served so many satisfied customers. I can't even keep track because the copy one. Millions of satisfied customers and built a loyal following of avid wine lovers. We call them winos. It's only natural then, yes, for them to have teamed up with the great wine shop to bring their customers first quality wines at value prices. And if you act right now, you can see right on the screen there, you can get free shipping if you spend over $17 billion on wine, which probably would last you through the weekend. I don't know. Anyway, WineExpress.com. The link is in the description. I hope you will partake of the offer there. And what's going on there with noises and all sorts of stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, in the room with me now are a couple of wine drinking snowplow drivers. First of all, we have Ron Kane, who is just like burying people under and just leaving them there to be found by the police and so forth. And over on the right there, we have his boss in the union, the president of the Snowplow Drivers Union, G.D. Fenderson. Good morning, G.D. Oh!
Good morning, America. MindDogTV.com. St. Patrick's Day is 18 days away. Go to MindDogTV.com/merch to order St. Patty's gear. Spend your green on our green. Support your local merchandise and enjoy the suffering.
It's a green wine. There's green beer, right? It's a green wine.
Depends on how long you let it sit. I mean, mold can do wondrous things if you allow it to.
Will mold grow in alcohol? Or there's mold, like wine and beer and booze, and you can get moldy?
I think mold can grow on it. I mean, it's natural. My understanding is that mold can grow on anything that is natural.
All right, then. Good morning, Ron. How are you? Other than murderous and just evil.
No, it's good. The snow plows are running. They're always running on time.
There was another incident here yesterday with somebody getting found in the snow dead. It's like
I sent you out another picture this morning.
Oh, you did? No. But finding people dead in the snow just from shoveling, like I don't know how they get covered up though. They're just like out there shoveling, have a heart attack, and then workers come along and
that, or I don't know what kind. And like if it happened in my yard, it would be snow drifts within minutes.
Yeah,
we have snow drifts. We have constant snow drifts. Matter of fact, there's no snow. We haven't had snow for several days. We're still getting snow drifts.
And I'd like to say this blatant abuse of snow plow drivers has really opened our eyes that maybe people aren't so good to their family members, because if they go out to shovel snow and they don't come back for a couple hours, when you ask a few questions.
Yeah. Blatant abuse of snowplow drivers. I think that's kind of a projection. The snowplow drivers are blatantly abusing. They just I'm getting paid by the hour. I might as well bury some nice people in the snow and kill them.
But they're saving people money.
Yeah.
And you don't know the betting lines before they leave either, because
I set the betting line. I don't know if you know who I am. I am the guy who sets the betting line on snowplow driver deaths. Vegas calls me every morning. They say, what's the line today? And I say, wait up. Gone. The line is gone. Now, I haven't done that in 40 years. Come on. Since Carl Sagan was still alive. What?
Speaking of Carl Sagan, you're going on about smelling, having traces of Caesar going in your nose. By this time, the amount of Caesar molecules going in your nose is close to nil. close to nil. It's virtually nil.
I think you
However,
should go argue with Fetterman about
people
that.
should be more concerned about when they walk into a bathroom. There's more fresh shit flying in the air, shit molecules going in your nose.
This isn't the first time you brought up fecal air syndrome.
I'm just saying you're freaking out
air
over
syndrome.
Caesar going in your nose, but if you're going to freak out over walking into a men's room or a ladies' room and realizing that there's fecal particles in the air. I mean, I think that's the song. Fecal particles in the air.
I sort of agree with you. I have a policy, a hard personal policy.
If your policy's paid up, your wife probably wants you to be out there shoveling the snow.
No, I don't have that kind of policy, and that's a whole other story. But I don't never walk into a bathroom. Somebody just walks out.
You skip. I'm going in the bathroom, la-di-da.
I'm gonna give it 5 minutes, but if somebody walks out of the
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you wait 5 minutes or
it does matter.
If you're talking about breathing in,
walk right in there 5 seconds later.
What I'm saying is, if you truly believe what these AI dead people, scientists are saying about us still breathing in particles of Caesar, okay, be it how minuscule, then you must believe that after 5 minutes in a closed-in room, there's got to be more shit particles flying than there are.
They have those vents. Like almost every one of these bathrooms have these vents. It's not.
We have the biggest fan in the world outside. Wind.
Yeah.
Okay. Just know. Apply logic to your irrational.
You're not understanding what they're talking about when they talk about.
It's not that I don't understand what they talk about. I understand
decomposition.
I don't
going
care.
Back into the Earth's atmosphere is different than just little particles of. If they're talking about atomic molecules that decompose and go back to the Earth's atmosphere and part of the Earth
before they go back into the atmosphere. Okay, for example, if Caesar were buried, he'd go into the ground first. Okay, if he were burned, he'd be ashes first. So
you start decomposing before that.
Oh wow! You know how much decomposition happens.
According to the physicist, within 5 minutes, your hydrogen starts. They go through this whole thing about where the percentages start to decompose and become back to the and how quickly it happens.
And percentage wise, it's probably close to nothing.
Oh no, it's not true.
I mean, what, a few grams?
Unless Feynman and Sagan and Einstein are all wrong.
Well, there's something in the air because a corpse does give off a unique smell, even 5 to 10 minutes in. It's not a harsh smell, but it's different.
Yes, but I'm saying particle as far as ratio goes, particle to particle. Dead person particle to what's already out there ratio, it's virtually nil.
Yeah,
virtually nil, especially once you get beyond the radius of like, maybe, I don't know, quarter mile.
I was in a store 3 weeks ago, 25 degrees outside, and there was a guy wearing fucking flip-flops in the bathroom standing at the urinal. So fecal matter all you want. That guy has piss sickles on his feet.
That's just wrong.
Okay, I think that's a good spot to bring in our guest.
A man. He left.
A man who, unfortunately, his parents were too cheap to buy the second N for his first name. But I'm not going to hold that against them. I mean, my parents splurged and bought 2 N's for my name.
I think the second N is optional, and I think they gave
I don't think it's optional.
I think they gave you an extra N, and let's be clear what that's all about.
Okay, I get it. That second N is for Negro. He just threw that away.
Right. I'm glad you said it because I'm not allowed to say that because.
You're not allowed to say Negro?
Not anymore. No, it's in my whatever.
Oh, well, one more day. You can say it in March. One more day. Can you hold up for one more day? 2 more days.
Glenn Dunswell has been with us before. You remember when he was with us before? We were talking. I think he's a good guy, and there's his
particles are still on our show.
That's right. Molecules are still in the Ethernet. right?
Yes, if people put on the radio and put on the SAP app, they can actually hear
I
the
think
particles from his previous.
I think Glenn Dunsweller, unlike Glenn Fenderson, I think Glenn Dunsweller is a good guy. He's one of these guys who actually cares about people, homeless people. And there's not a lot of good people left in the world, so we should celebrate him. He's a filmmaker, producer, public speaker, video coach, and podcaster, right? And he's got a book out called The Moralist, and he's here now. It's all about how to solve the homeless problem. Good morning, Glenn.
Good morning. Thank you for having me again. This is a great show.
You know what? I always wonder why anybody would want to come back here a second time. I mean, I like to welcome people back, but I'm always surprised that they want to come back. Like,
you said something about me that I tell people often. You said I can see why the left and the right don't like you, and I love that quote. I tell people all the time.
You know, it's funny. GD yesterday mentioned about another guest who said he said I said something that made them want to come back. What was that? Do you remember what that was? Oh, the book thing, right? But what did I say?
I don't know. I couldn't believe that she said you said something nice or inspiring. But anyway. as soon as you said it, she says, "Matt, I'm sending you one of my gold medals." You know.
Yeah.
And then I got mine first because I made her cry on the interview.
I want to pull up the book. You know, I got too many books to pull up here. Which is Glenn's book here? That ain't it. That's the Faye book.
Glenn, while he's over there messing around and not knowing what he's doing.
That's the one.
That's all right.
You are welcome back as long as there are homeless and houseless people out there.
Well, I appreciate it. Your snowplow stories were getting me because people die on the street all the time, and I can't imagine when in a snowstorm when people refuse to go into warming stations.
Yeah,
what it's like finding people that are just underneath drifts. It's got to be wild.
It's even
people who use the snow as insulation from the storm, because once you're inside, it's warmer in the snow than it is outside.
Yeah. I think there are. I understand not wanting to go to a shelter because some, bad stuff can happen in a shelter.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I think when you get 3 feet of snow, I think that's time to the kind of storm that we've had in the Northeast in the last couple of weeks here.
Yeah,
it's time to just. All right, I'm gonna go get robbed and raped and beat up or whatever in the shelter.
Yeah, life is a strategy, right? What is least detrimental to me?
Yeah. So before we talk about the book and everything else you do, you have this the Frank talk, and there's an Ernest in the Frank and Ernest. You have Ernest questions. You're Frank and Ernest. Yeah, you should change the name to Frank Ernest or Ernest Frank.
Yeah, Frank is my storytelling show brand, and I'm coming up. I'm having one on the 5th of March in Hollywood here, and it's about storytelling community, really the art of connection and supporting that. So it's one of the things I do, one of the many creative projects that I try to get off the ground and get going. And it's really fun. So yeah, Frank, honest stories, no rules. Because a lot of storytelling shows have themes. And what I was finding is my stories and a lot of other people's stories didn't fit into themes. So I wanted to support the community in Los Angeles in this art of storytelling. And so I came up in 2019. I started my show, Frank, Honest Stories, No Rules. And I get it up when I can get it up. And it's nice because it's coming up on the 5th.
So that's a little bit different from what's that one I keep hearing about? The moth.
Yeah, The Moth is the storytelling show that everyone knows. And if I had the marketing of The Moth, it would be great. But they have their own thing. They're well known. There's another one out of New York called Risk. That's a podcast. It's a storytelling podcast. And those two are the most known by the general public because storytelling is still kind of new. People say, well, what is it? And people think of like Eric Bogosian in the 90s, one-man shows. And it is that, but it's also now turned into kind of a stand-up format where each storyteller has 7 minutes to tell a story. beginning, middle, end. It's kind of a one person theatrical experience, and then you just go. So mine has 5 invited performers, 3 open mics, and then I host it. So eight stories in an hour and a half. And there are no rules. We kind of follow a storytelling format, a performing storytelling format, but I really don't like rules. I think rules need to be challenged.
Yes.
I have a question for you real quick. Have you heard of plausible.com as using them as an outlet, an additional outlet to get the word out?
No, I will look them up.
It's a platform for comedians. It's an online platform for comedians.
With Z's, not S's.
Right, with Z's. PLAUZZABLE. Okay. So you may want to check them out. I'm not exactly sure how you would incorporate that in what you do, because if you're doing live shows, like for example, I do hybrid shows. When I do a live show, if it's my show, if I'm in charge of the show, I do it live, but also stream it live on Plausible.
Nice.
And if your event is a ticket selling event, you can also monetize it there as well.
Nice. Yeah.
And if you want, we can talk later, or we can just ignore these two guys and talk now. If you're the guest, you decide.
Yeah, because never mind. So The Moralist, this is a novel, yes?
It is a novel. It is my editor called it more of a thought experiment than a novel. He said it reads like an extended play script. And I said, yeah, because I like dialogue and I built characters, and really the goal was, because I've been trying to solve homelessness since 2010, and I'm obviously not doing a very good job. We just keep
doing the same thing. You're doing a great job, because I'm not homeless. So as far as I'm concerned, you're doing a great job, Glenn.
So we kind of keep hitting the same marks where we run into the rule of law and liability. Well, why can't we just clean these people up? Why can't we just take them off of the street? And you can't, because that's kidnapping, right? People can't. And so I thought, well, what if I build?
What if ICE did it? What if ICE did it?
Well, if you have a badge, and you have authority, then you have more levity, more leeway on the kidnapping. But but they still can't do that. You can't take away someone's rights. It's arguable that you can't take away someone's rights unless you deem them as a criminal or a terrorist or an immigrant, right? Then you can take away their rights.
Or Hispanic looking, I should say, but just in my case. But yeah, continue.
But what if there were a grassroots group of people who started becoming like the moral police that other countries have that are religious based? What if it's a secular based moral police where they are not only inspiring people to live productive lives, but there's a sect of the moralists that start deciding whose life is worth living? Right. And in the book, there's a place called Sad Camp. It's for all the depressed people, and the moralists have rich benefactors. So like Epstein had his island, the rich benefactors have Sad Camp Island, where they pick up people from the street, take them there, and give them all the resources to get their life right. But if you don't get your life right, you're killed. You're done.
Wow.
And what I found is, if in trying to answer all these real life questions we have, you run into some fascist things, you run into some illegal activity in order to make your socialist ideal work. And I really wanted people to see that, because after 10 years of people talking about housing first and harm reduction, we've spent all this money, all this public money, and gotten nowhere with it. And everybody is angry. So my fear is we're going to go back to internment camps and insane asylums, which are very expensive and which take away people's freedom. So the moralists, in a way, kind of come up with a solution, and I get to show that to people and ask them, is this the solution that you want? Because in the book, in the novel, the moralists start doing illegal things, and people don't like that. So the authorities are wondering what's going on. The media is wondering what's going on. The people, the public are second guessing them. Is this a cult? Who is this? The CIA? Is this who are you? What are you doing? Why are you doing this? Are you religious fanatics? You know, all those things come up. And I really wanted people to see that so we don't have to go through that in real life, because I do see that we are turning towards internment camps, and especially insane asylums. I know in California, they've opened up the criteria to take people that are nonviolent, mentally ill people off the street. Where are they going? Because we've done this before, right? We found in the 70s, we found all those people neglected in insane asylums.
It is such a really complicated, or just it seems unsolvable problem, that I have to start with the question: how do you even maintain any hope that there might be a solution?
So yeah, I tell people the solution is direct, and it's right in front of you, and it's what you can do for the person in front of you. And I have 2 instances in my life where it worked. One in 2010, 11, I met this old homeless church lady that was living behind a grocery store. And I had a house at the time with a spare room. And I decided she wasn't a drug addict. She wasn't mentally ill. She'd just fallen on hard times. She quit her job to take care of her mother, was living with her mother. Her mother died. Then she found herself out of work and out of a place to live. So it took me 8 months, but she lived with my wife and myself. And I gave her a bus pass to get to job interviews and minutes on a phone card to call for job interviews. And within 9 months, we got her back into society. So that's a definite thing that people can do. But if you're not willing to reach out and let people into your home, I do this series called Skid Row Speakers, where I pay homeless people for words of inspiration that I can videotape and then share with the world. And I was in Las Vegas and I was interviewing this flower lady. She was selling these kind of flowers on the street. And once I interviewed her, I said, can you give us words of inspiration, and I will pay you for it. And this is a business transaction. This is my business card. I was inviting her back into the real world, into society. And she was really touched that someone would think she had something to offer. And then she was challenged to actually give something, and she did. And then she was proud of herself that she was able to give us words of inspiration. It was really a sweet video. 2 weeks later, she called me and she said, because you wanted to interview me, I decided my life was worth living, and I went back into rehab. That's amazing, right?
That is amazing.
So those 2 stories prove to me that I'm not just making up the words that are coming out of my mouth. I know this can happen, and it's not on some grand scale. It can't be, because people in front of you are the ones that you care about most, and they care about you caring about them most.
I don't know if
we
you
can
see
all
this
do that.
heavy weight that is on me right now, because I agree that good things can happen when you do this. And I think you're very fortunate to have 2 good outcomes. My wife and I have taken in homeless people 9 different times. Every single time it turns into a disaster. And then we try to find people who have hope, or some if you give them a car and a way to get to work, or and out some kind of prospects, and try to build up. And we've seen progress, but every time along the way we've been robbed. We've had stolen from, whatever. And the very last time, a girl robbed money from my wife and stuff, and then my wife wasn't home, and I saw she had the lady who was living with us posted on Facebook that bitch stole my money. Like, my wife stole her own money back from her, and it was whatever. It wasn't a lot
Yeah.
of money.
No,
But she threatened her life, and then I threw her. I said, "Get out of my house! You threatened my wife's life." She came back with a cop. The cop said, "Let her in." And all of a sudden, the cop was standing there, and I'm the bad guy.
Yep.
And then she's gonna get her stuff, and the cop's looking at me like he wants to beat me up. I'm like, did I do something to you? We've been going out of our way to help people, and when she finally got outside, the cop said to me, "Listen, they're homeless for a reason. You got to stop taking homeless people in." So this is a cop lecturing me on not doing something good. So I'm glad that it worked out, and I am hopeful that in some cases, but 9 times. We're always 0 for 9 in my family on trying to help people like that.
Yeah, and that's rough, and that's what keeps us from doing anything. We live by the rule of law, which is the rule of liability. I don't want to do anything because I'm afraid I'm going to be liable. If I let this person in my house, all of a sudden they're a tenant and they have rights to stay here. And I can't just be a good person. I have to make myself vulnerable to be taken advantage of. And that is a real conundrum. And I cover that in the book as well, and there are people that get inspired by the moralists and then start committing crimes of assault to be good people, like ripping e-scooters out of people's hands and getting in fist fights on the street because they're riding scooters past pedestrians, putting people in danger. So then you're creating more chaos because you think you're doing a good thing, all of that. Humans are really messy.
Yeah.
And if we don't try, and if we don't celebrate what positive effects we did from trying, we just keep closing in, and it just keeps getting worse. I'd say the 2 reasons we have such a bad homeless problem that just keeps perpetuating is, 1, the degradation of family and community. We just don't have communities that will take care of the crazy uncle or take care of grandma as she goes through dementia. And then we're investing ourselves out of shelter. It is now so expensive to get shelter in a lot of cities that we just stop good people from being able to be better.
Right.
We're really throwing barriers to the basic human shelter need away from them. And
I remember Rogan and Tom Segura were having a conversation about the homeless problem in LA, and Tom Segura was shocked that if a homeless person if somebody gets thrown out of their home and they can take like a bureau with them or drawers to keep their stuff in, that remains their property. And if he was this a moralist, like if you go over there and try to take that and throw it in the trash, you're stealing from them, and now you're the criminal. God, I can't believe these people are still allowed to have property. Like, really, you're going to take their last little?
We have an assumption that your personal property will be stored in some real estate that you either own or rent. Right. That's just an assumption that all the stuff you have, your worldly belongings, are going to be housed in a place that you also pay for to store things in. Yeah. So when people don't have a place to put their stuff, it throws our whole system away. I mean, even the legal system, that is my shirt. You have to have a place to put your shirt. Well, I don't. So now what?
Now what? According to, I'm just going to follow up on that conversation, Rogan and Segura. Rogan said, "Why don't we just shoot them all?" And Segura said, "I like the way you think." It's like, really, you rich bastards. The problem is they don't think it can happen to them or anybody they care about, right?
So. Yeah. And in the moralists, at some point you have to come up with that. Even these people that are trying to do good things, I have tenets of the moralist, and it's all positive stuff. But if someone can't or won't take care of themselves for one reason or another, or play the game of society, get a job to pay rent or mortgage that we've all agreed on, what do you do with them? And one is ignore them. That's what we've been doing. But then we also don't like our streets filled with sad people in our way on the sidewalks. So the moralists give people a year and give them a faction, give them the ability to improve themselves and give them encouragement and give them all the resources. And then they have people that kill people who don't improve, because
it's like an animal shelter for human beings.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. And even the moralists don't want to talk about the faction that makes these difficult decisions, right? Because it's not a good thing to talk about. You start talking about killing people. We do it all the time, but we have to come up with reasons. Like we can starve, or we can starve Cubans of oil because they're Cubans. They're not Americans, right?
They're drug cartels. Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
We can do it. We do it all the time, but we hate admitting it. We hate facing that.
Well, you talk about like the rising cost and things like that, and like the economy is not getting any better. The future with less jobs being available to humans. I mean, how do you really feel about a data center coming into like some town? All this money is literally being pumped into it, and there are homeless people everywhere on the street.
Capitalism runs off imbalance. You know, we have I say the social agreement in the United States is get what you can for yourself. Yeah. And we support that.
Yes,
so that's the only thing that the social agreement agrees on, is you need to get what you can for yourself. And it's really permission to exploit.
Yeah.
I notice a lot of businesses, if you are a successful business, at some point, you have stood on the back of someone else to get there, whether it's, you know, kids in East Asia making your little widgets for you to sell at a profit in the United States, or whatever it is. Even legitimate businesses have to make that step to exploit, to look for where their profit margins are. And that's just what capitalism is. And that, for good or for bad, I mean, capitalism gives us freedom to come up with amazing things, but it also has we have left the socialism part of taking care of one another to families and communities. And we don't have much of those anymore. Yeah. So now what?
Yeah, that's definitely the core of the problem. But at some level, everything becomes a moralist type of decision. Like with cost effectiveness, is it more cost effective to build shelters and mental institutions, or just is it more of cost effective just to leave them on their own and then to come in and rob people, they become desperate and all that kind of stuff? At some level, we're all, as a society, we have to make a moralist type decision. We can't agree on anything. So
one of the things I ask people all the time is, I say, how much is your life worth? Because ultimately that's the way we look at it. When we talk about how expensive it is to put a person in a mental hospital, we're telling them your life is worth this much. Your life is not worth this much. You know, and I knew 4 years ago, I was in my last motorcycle accident where a lady hit me with her car. And I know that my life, because of the settlement, after the lawyer took his cut, my life is worth $60,000. Wow. That's how much my life is worth. I have that hard fact because it destroyed me, right? I had to rebuild my life completely. It took away my ability to walk. It took away my vehicle, and I was left with nothing. So my life is worth 60,000. And how much is yours worth?
At this moment, nickel.
Yeah,
but even that's just such a brutal, you know, when you think about people who, my net worth is $250 billion or something, 60 grand. Wow.
Yeah. And I mean, one of the tenets of the moralists is human life is equal regardless of circumstance.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, they're all that's, people keep thinking the moralists are a cult because they have these tenets. It's like Buddhism, right? These are this and this and this. And what you quickly realize is, to maintain that outlook, some bad stuff has to happen.
Yeah.
And it's wild.
So along these Because if it was a member of your family, you would think different, right? If it was your brother, your sister, your father, most people.
It depends on the connection. It depends on the connection.
That's true.
I maintain this truth in my life. Not everybody loves their brothers or their families, but everybody loves their drinking buddy. So treat people like you would treat your drinking buddy, not like you treat your family.
But I definitely hear what you're saying there, and there is an idea that not everybody is going to take in their brother if they were homeless. But
I didn't.
Yeah, so not everybody will, and that's part of it. But I think it would go a long way if we because I was watching this Fetterman thing last night. AI has brought Richard Fetterman back to life, and I'm listening to his lectures, and he was talking about you don't have to go back that far to find out we're all related. Like if you go back 1,000 years, our ancestors, you have 1 million ancestors at that point if you go through the doubling of grandfather, great grandfather, blah blah blah. And so at that point I have 1 million ancestors. Well, the population of Earth was less than 1 million people, so that means every single one of us shares those ancestors. We may not be, genetically the same, but genealogy wise, we're all a family. And if we could get to that point, maybe we'd start caring about these people a little more. Because I think you talk about capitalism and its propensity to be, what can I get from me? I think the more you get, the more you become susceptible to greed and selfishness. You stop caring about these people at all. Like they just become a burden to you. They're your problem, not your. And they are looked at a problem. It's not. They don't have a problem. They're your problem.
And I think the social agreement goes both ways. I remember people complaining about, let's say, the 1950s, where if you were a young woman that got pregnant, your parents just made a decision for you that you were going to go on vacation for a while, you were going to get an abortion, then you were going to come back and everything was going to be fine, right? You're taking away the autonomy of this young girl for the social structure to say, no, we do not condone having children out of wedlock because it destroys the society. So when in this I get whatever I can for myself world, no one's doing that, to include the people on the street. They're saying, I was talking to a guy on Skid Row and he said, I don't go into housing because every time I go into housing, they tell me I can't take my drugs. And I just want to take my drugs. So I'm on Skid Row because I like my drugs. And, what do you do with that? What do you do with autonomy for people that like their drugs? Because sometimes in a more rigid social structure, you can't take your drugs. That's your job. You were born to be a functional member of this society. These are your jobs and these are your responsibilities. Drugs is not one of them. Right. But on the same side, in that social agreement, I promise to not have Uncle Pete rape you or whatever that is, right? Yeah. That would put you into wanting to have drugs. Or I promise to make sure that you are educated enough that you can function on your own as an adult. We don't necessarily guarantee education here. We tried for a little bit, but it's not happening. Convenience and comfort have taken over. We now have kids that are completely addicted to social media and iPads, and it is not helping our students learn at all. AI is now.
Could you repeat that? Because I was doing my phone. I was looking at my app. I didn't catch that.
Yeah, I was just saying that
I got you. I was.
I got it. I get the joke now. I got it now.
Yeah. Jokes are so much better when you explain them. I find that jokes are so much.
Jokes are much better when you get them, and I apologize for not getting the joke right away.
I still don't get it.
Yeah, and what is the social agreement now? When you go into teaching, kids are writing their papers on AI or with AI and just thinking that's okay.
Yeah.
And instructors are pulling their hair out because they're not working their brains. You're not working your brain, and that's a bad thing.
Part of the I don't know, the line that gets blurred here with the book The Moralist, and I'm looking at like because they the do-gooders, they think they're doing society a service, right?
Yeah.
They think they're doing the right thing. This is not evil, but at the end of the day, if you're just taking life, you are putting yourself in judgment, like making yourself God of who deserves to live and who deserves to die. That is evil, but it blurs the line between good and evil, right? It's kind of.
One of the people I follow that we follow in the book is one of the guys in Clean Sweep is the faction that takes and makes these hard decisions. And then there are a few people that have been picked from from Clean Sweep that have killed people for governments, right? We have military people that are used to killing people. Yeah. And so they borrowed those people. And we follow this one guy that he's like one of the killers for Clean Sweep. And it even starts to bother him. He's like, this is not, it's not positive. And the moralists know this is not positive. Killing people is not positive. And so this guy quits at the end and then contemplates suicide. Because when you're known just as the guy that kills people, you're the executioner. What is the value of your life? Right? He starts to question that, because you have to have more. You have to have, unless you're just a sociopath and you just like taking people's lives.
Right. Suicidal ideation, call or text star 988. I have to say that every time we say the word suicide on here, because YouTube doesn't like it.
I got a question. I got a question for you.
Yes.
So, like, with all this talk about homelessness and things like that, do you think it's odd that we've never really faced the problem head on? And would it really be a problem if someone came out and said, hey, your way of life is pretty good, right? You can go to the store, you can just go buy stuff, people won't bother you. But there's also a price or a cost of doing business. And that cost of doing business is you have to take care of these people, no matter if you don't like it or if you do like it. If you want to continue with this way of life, you have to address that problem, because it will tip in the other way, which it is, and which in turn you'll have more homelessness and crime will definitely go up.
And this is why you guys last time told me that the left and the right doesn't want you, because that is my solution, right? That the solution is we have to have some sort of socialism injected into this capitalism in taking inspiration from other countries. But I always remind myself, we are a very unique situation. We are not homogenous at all, and we are huge. So when you talk about social agreements and community ideals, well, which community, in which state, in which city? Like we're so many cultures. So we have to come up with something that starts notching away at this. And the moralists are just this startup group that comes out of like internet culture. So they're not solving everything, but they're making decisions,
right?
And they're trying to enforce a social agreement just one by one, and they're growing. It's like a startup. It's hits and we've never come into this before. And it's rough. And the takeaway is life is dirty, man. I mean, it's just. But
Ron's solution made me think that it would be a super hard sell to hardcore capitalists, no restriction cap, unrestricted greed. Those people, you would never sell that idea, no matter what the cost of crime or mental illness that they see on the street. They'd rather just pretend those people are invisible and step over them than to actually deal with it in a way that like Ron just proposed there.
And I agree with you. I agree with you, Matt, to a certain extent, but there's also more of us than there is of them. In the end, there is more of us than there is of them.
Now, I'm thinking something along the lines, because I know Elizabeth Warren proposed a wealth tax. on people who make like it's a fraction of a penny over like every dollar over, let's say, a billion or something like that. I can't remember what the actual number is, but it was a minuscule amount of money, and they bitched about it. But so what? That they bitching about it. I'm thinking something like if you know, you don't need 40 acres to live on, So if you're living on 40 acres, then there's going to be, let's say, something equivalent to like a land tax, so that and no shelters, no hiding the money. It's because you're not hiding your land, and you're not hiding the benefits from having the land. If you need to, you will use that land to borrow money against that land. So tax it, and the proceeds from this stuff will go to creating places for people who don't have land, for people who don't have houses.
Right.
Yeah, the things that we always run into is, let's say in Los Angeles, I think we're on our now fourth nonprofit that has gotten in trouble for embezzling money, because they'll just take the cash and then they'll go buy yachts and bigger houses.
Right.
The greed is everywhere, right? Who has the moralist code? And the other thing is, the problem with socialism is you cannot defend any luxury. So we should all be wearing burlap shirts. Why do you get a red one, right? Why do you get a color TV instead of a black and white TV? Or why do you get to watch 4 hours of videos instead of 30 minutes? So we have to understand what that cap is. And the problem is, I got my moral compass basically from my grandfather and my parents. My grandfather was this Midwestern businessman that said, no, you will clean up after yourself. You will give to people, and until it hurts. Like, that's what I learned. And that's, I think, kind of a Protestant thing. I don't know what it is, but who has that? And then I have the spirit of my grandfather sitting on my shoulder all the time. And that's just me. For some reason, I carry that guy with me all the time. There's no guarantee that you've got that in your DNA.
I think I alluded to that. A lot of people
have forgotten, like during the time of your grandfather, I'm assuming he's was around when the corporate tax rate was like what, very high, like 75%, 90%.
He went through the Great Depression, so that's he had that memory. Yeah.
So corporate tax was like 90%, and if you wanted a lower tax rate, you had to give back to workers, pay them well, and that's how you got your tax break. Right. That's how you, and people, and that way the wealthy were incentivized to do the right thing. We've taken away that, and to give them like the option to do charity, and then they create their own charities where they're benefiting from their own charities, a la Donald Trump. So
I just have to say that Glenn just validated first a couple of things, that I said he was a good guy in his intro, but I think there are fewer and fewer actually really good people who have a heart, have empathy left in the world. And I know you weren't virtue signaling there. You're just telling you where your heart comes from, and I appreciate that. The other observation I want to make is although you look fairly young, you mentioned black and white TV. You are an old geezer, man. Holy crap.
I'm 52, but yeah, I still have my full head of hair.
Yeah, and nobody in the chat room even black and white TV. What do you mean? It was the top was black and the bottom was white. What do you mean? What is black and white TV? Black and white.
You mean linoleum tile? You mean the TV was covered with linoleum tile?
Well, remember, entertainment was only 3, maybe 4 network channels.
I don't remember that. I was born in it. We already had 48 channels.
You already had cable, right? Well, I was born without cable. I didn't know what cable television was. Me too. But that was for the special rich people, right? And so this
and I was a channel changer. We didn't have a remote control initially. I was a channel changer.
I don't know if you've seen the Flintstones, but I had a little bird in the back of this tube, and he was just like drawing stuff on the screen.
So there was this pride in kind of this Spartan life, right, where you didn't have a lot. My grandfather talked about, he running a restaurant during the Great Depression, and someone coming in and asking for hot water and then pouring their ketchup in the hot water, and they called it ketchup soup. And so what killed him is he had to stop putting condiments out on the table because people were just going through his condiments and he's not paying any money. So I recall those things in my mind, and I think, am I asking for too much? Am I taking up too much space? But that's not what makes capitalism work. We need to consume. We need to buy more cars, bigger cars, better cars, more luxury cars. We need to buy bigger houses. That's what makes the machine go and work for some people.
But we have to have the money to buy those things.
Yeah, that's the thing, that it's coming to a point where I'm waiting for the collapse. I've been waiting since.
Well, the collapse has happened because in order to buy those things now, you need more credit cards. Because back in the day,
credit was the way to make money. Yeah.
Back when Matt was a kid, to get a house, you had to have like 50% down to own a house, and then you only had like a 10-year mortgage, which meant very few people could actually own houses. And then after the GI Bill, they came up with like the 30-year mortgage and 10% down and stuff like that, which made it easier for people to afford houses. And now they've extended it to the point where you don't need the money to buy groceries. We'll give you a credit card and you can charge your groceries and then pay for them. You can eat it today and pay for it for the next 10 years.
Yeah. As you still need to eat. So
that's their solution right now. Their solution is credit. And it's not until that collapses that they're going to say, okay, well, maybe we should go back to where we paid people the money they needed to get by on a daily, weekly, monthly basis.
I think that we are pretty close to that collapsing. I mean, this is the one part of the economy that you don't hear people talking about a lot. We are more people are delinquent in debt than ever before, and the credit card stuff is just like upside down. And that's one part of the economy that nobody is really kind of mentioning.
Well, they don't address the real issue, which is it's expensive to be poor. It is expensive to be fucking poor.
Absolutely, yeah. Everything costs you more money because the system wasn't made for you. But I think forever people talk about socialism, communism, capitalism. I think the devil is in consumerism. We just buy shit that we don't need all over the place. We just, like you said, we need a faster car. We need or more the newest car, the newest whatever. We are just hung up on having the latest, greatest iPhone or whatever it is. Nothing is ever enough. We're not satisfied with it. And that's what consumerism does to us. So I don't know.
For a while, to make now money during the COVID times, I was delivering food for DoorDash on my motorcycle. And in LA, it meant I could get anywhere and everywhere. It was beautiful. But what I realized is DoorDash, all of that stuff is not sustainable. It was all, I was delivering cups of coffee. And by the time I delivered that coffee cost $25. Right. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And my friend said, well, LA is such a hustle that if I can afford to buy food delivered, I know, and for some reason it makes my heart feel that I'm doing right. I'm doing things right. If I have enough money to pay for DoorDash, it's a drug, right. We don't feel good about our lives. So we're consuming things to try and give ourselves validation. I think it's
when it comes to homelessness specifically, I think the United States has one of the biggest problems of any country in the world. Is that fair? That's fair to say, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
There are countries that have it, that seem to have, like Japan has a very low rate of homelessness, and they're not killing people. But there are countries that boast zero homelessness, but I think like they're just murdering people who are living on the street, right? But are there any examples that we can take from like Japan or countries that seem to have a better solution? I don't know what they do to kind of, because
I think it really comes down to a stronger expectation from your community, which we do not want to do. We like our freedoms. We like saying I can do whatever I want. I can buy whatever I want. Yeah. And I look at communities that are not first world, that are third world, that have a lower expectation. We have a hut, and that family of 20 lives in that hut, but we don't let anybody go homeless. Everyone has a family to take care of them. The younger people take care of the old people take care of the babies. And those people that when they come to the United States, they understand family and they don't let their family go homeless. But what they do is they flout our housing laws. So when we say single family homes, they look at our home and think, no, I can fit 30 people in there, and I will. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And it's so we just have to have a mental shift for us to do anything about it. And that's what I've been working on. That's the only way I can see anything ever getting better, is if we stop with this unabashed consumerism that is burying us.
Yeah.
It's
well, God bless you, man. I really appreciate the effort and the that you're able to sustain your positive outlook, that you might be able to make a positive change in the world. I'll just give you and this is not virtual saying, this is basically saying I'm a pussy because I would love to help, and I want to get involved in the Lighthouse Shelter, which is down in Patchogue, food kitchens. I did for a long time work in a food kitchen, soup kitchen up here until I got attacked by somebody online, and then I quit. But the reason I haven't got, and this sounds like an excuse, but I'm just too weak to go out in 3 feet of snow to go down to Patchogue and contribute time. But I think when it gets nice out, I'll do it. Hey, there you go. But it's just so hard for people to say.
You may be close to what I think it was George Wallace who called them summer soldiers and sunshine patriots.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what no doubt. But I think this is a problem. People mean well, and they see something. I want to get involved, but not today. Look, it's 3 feet of fucking snow.
Well, that's part of the reason why we kind of have to admire what they're doing in Minneapolis. It's like 14 below, and they're out there every day protesting.
You're right. We have to admire it, but I think we have to do more than admire.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying it's the same with what you just said. It makes what they did so much more important. It's not just a protest. It's a protest under adverse circumstances and conditions.
No, you're right. You're right. My hat's off to them when it gets warmer. It's too cold in here to take.
Yeah, I can't take my hat off right now. I'll take my hat off to him as soon as it gets warm.
Yeah, exactly. Glenn, thank you for being part of the program again. I wish you luck with the book. And everything you do, all the effort that you're putting in. I hope it pays off, and I hope somehow we can make a difference. And
I do appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'll reach out to you, Matt. I'll get your contact information from Matt, and we can talk about the plausible thing, and maybe figure out how we can get this done. If it's something you want to do, we'll talk about something you want to get done. I'll get you hooked up with Leanne, and maybe even if you put on plausible, you can maybe monetize it and raise money for homelessness or whatever.
That would be wonderful. You know what? We should do something. I'm gonna do a pot-a-thon for the cause, and see if we raise $30,000 for one guy for his disease. We should be able to raise some money for the cause here.
And, but people cared about that guy. A lot of people aren't caring about the homeless. We have to make them care.
That's what Glenn is doing. He's making these people real people. He's going out
we have to make them care.
Here's. So I think we need to get some of that footage, and so these are the people we're helping, and all that kind of stuff. But you know what, Glenn, if you have any way that we can get involved and help you, don't be shy to reach out with me to me and ask for help on here. I'll be whatever.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it's great. It's great that you let me back. I like that you like me. Thank you.
Oh no, well, you are welcome back again. I will be shocked if you do come back again, but I would love to have you back again. I think again, I think you're a good person and a good heart, and there are so few people I see that I can say that about today. That I'm very impressed and wish you all the success in the world and trying to make the world a better place. Leave the world a better place than we came.
Yeah, and also standards are so low now that what passes for a good person is like, so honestly, it's like someone like, Donald Trump was passing as a good person because he had a charity.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I get told all the time, "Oh, you're a good guy." Like, "No, I'm such a sleaze bag. You have no idea." Anyway, good luck. We have to make room for the next guest to come on. But the links are in the description. There's two different websites now. There's one for the book and one just Glenn's regular podcast, film production, all that side. They're both in the description. We hope people will go to it and help become part of the solution. Thanks for being here. Have a great day.
All right.
Stay warm. Bye. Gun dweller, folks. Our next guest is Trisha Copeland, who is going to be. There she is, right there. Right. Trisha Copeland. I think she just likes making me feel stupid with the Faye stuff. I think I asked her what the Faye meant before, and to be honest with you, I don't remember. What does Faye stand? FAE. You guys don't remember either, do you?
The Fae was, I guess that's the feminine form of a fairy.
It's something, right? It's fairiness. It's magic. It's all that stuff.
Yeah.
She's also she's got a book out to be a Fae rogue. Is her latest, and she's got a series coming out called Perfect, which is Maria Jane. I saw Mary Jane. I was like, I like Mary Jane. You know what I mean by that, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, let me read Trisha's actual intro here, unless you want to do it for me, because I've read too much today. Trisha Copeland believes in finding magic, unlike Jeff Altman, who finds a card in his hat. You might look at that. She thinks magic infuses every aspect of our lives, whether it is the magic of falling in love, discovering a new passion, viewing a beautiful sunset, or reading a book that transports us to another world, or listening to a Richard Feynman lecture on how we are all related. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, Trisha Copeland. Welcome, Trisha.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So I forgot what Faye stands for.
Faye is just another term for a fairy.
All right. Oh, look.
Matt thought it was like an anagram, like fairies are eating the cats and dogs or something like that. Fairies are everywhere. That's it.
Are everywhere. I like that one. Or fairies are equal.
Yeah. This is the book that's out now, right? Rogue, a Fae gone rogue, right? How does a fairy go rogue? What do we?
It's hard to explain. I don't want to give too much away, but our fairy queen in this book, and the audiobook was actually just released, so that's really exciting. Has a little more freedom because she's not queen anymore. That's a good way to put it. She's not queen anymore. And she doesn't have to live up to anyone's standards or follow anyone's rules. So she has much more autonomy to, I guess, go about things how she sees or how she thinks they should be. We have an antagonist who's an evil witch spirit, and some witches and vampires in the human realm are trying to get rid of this witch spirit, and the Fae or the fairies that she's been working with previously don't think she should work with the witches and the vampires, but now she has freedom to do that. So she's gone a little rogue.
Now, I'm just curious because we're two different generations. I'm pretty sure I'm many years older than you. When I was growing up, there was a term called Old Fae. And I was just wondering if the fairies called the elder fairies old fays.
Probably so. Like fairies can mean so many different, or fae can mean so many different beings. Like sometimes a fae is just any kind of magical being, right? And like in Lord of the Rings, there were the sort of the old fae, and they don't have wings, but my fairies do. But to many different people and many different writers, the fairies can show up as different types of beings and can sometimes be called, any type of magical being.
I think the common thread for this morning is rules. People who don't like to follow rules, because there's a quote from the back of the book: "I am dead. I need not abide by any law but my own." I think we're coming to a consensus that nobody likes rules anymore.
Rules can kind of hamper your self-expression, right?
Well,
Yeah.
I love rules. It keeps me from doing the damage that I would ordinarily do if I
No,
didn't have
you're
to.
talking about all those MAGA people. They're the ones that like the rules.
Some rules. They make rules for themselves.
Well, we could just say white people like the rules. All whites like the rules.
All right, I think here we go. So the magic stuff, because magic can mean so many different things. I mean, like raising the dead, or healing the sick, or just pulling a card. It was in my fucking hat. A magician who was on.
Or science that we don't understand.
Yes. So, are the magic that you write about, is that all encompassing, like all of that, all magic?
Not in my books. So in my books, the witches have magical powers that is generational, so it's handed down through their family lines, and different witches have different types of powers, or may like be healers, or may have the ability to move objects. The fairies, in my books at least, have not traditionally had any magical powers, but the female fairies in Titania, who is the main character, in her lines some have different types of magical powers. So Titania has the ability to, for lack of a better term, conjure energy and use it as a weapon. So she can like conjure like a huge energy ball and fling it at someone and disintegrate them, basically.
Okay.
Now, since according to some philosophies, money is energy, so she can like summon a ball of cash and just throw it at the problem.
If they had cash in their realm, I'm sure she could do that.
Now, because I'm a stupid person, bear with me. The purpose of fairies, whatever you want to call them, is to serve humanity. Yes.
Yes, but it will not really serve, more protect humanity, because their realm is tucked between basically hell or lower earth and the human realm. And in these books, the creator made the fairies to keep the evil spirits at bay from harming the humans.
So this is going to be a common thread with questions I have for you. Are they failing?
It seems like they're failing here a little bit, yes. And partly I think they've been failing because of this old fae, kind of idea that we don't need to meddle too much, and we don't need to, we only have a hard line. We're not going to do things for little soft aggressions, right?
Yeah.
And that maybe it's a slippery slope there.
A lot of common threads with you and the previous guest, in that he is dedicating his life to fighting the homeless problem, dealing with the homeless problem, and just this idea of fairies looking out for us. It seems like insurmountable problems. Like you can't save people from themselves. That's my takeaway from this conversation and the previous conversation. And so even with their humans' best interest at heart, you can't stop people from being just really crappy to each other, right?
Well, that's true. Well, we have free will, and my main rule as I go through my life is to be kind. So, if everybody is kind to each other, what a better world we would have.
What a better world we'd have. But again, it's like, how do you measure? Because the last conversation was about people who believe they're doing good for society, doing good for individuals. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't go well, they end up killing them. And that's like, people go into things with the best of intentions. Sometimes it's the world's a freaking complicated mess, right? And so even if you have magical powers, it's hard to fix things. So
that's true. Yes, a lot of people have different ideas of what is better for an individual or the greater good, right? Yeah.
So now the people who read the Fae stuff, is there a demographic there? Is it young adults? Is it women? You don't see a lot of guys in your audience, do you?
Not tons, but I have a couple who are diehard fans and they email me all the time what's going to happen next. So that's always fun. It is YA content, so young adult. I mean, no graphic violence, no graphic
young
sex
adult
scenes.
Who wants to be the one to say it? Ron, you want to be the one to say it? GD, you want to be one? It's going to come to me. That's another definition of a fairy. I'm sorry. The guys who read the Fae books, fairies. I'm just kidding. That's a joke. I'm from New York. You're allowed to say that kind of stuff. Anyway.
Matt can say it because he's a racist. It's okay.
The other book.
No, just
the series that's coming out. Perfect.
Right. So that's a romance series. And in today's world, no magical except falling in love.
Now, the Fae book is out now. And this one's coming out in April. Then you have another one coming out in May and another one. Are you writing a book a day?
Well, the ones coming out in April and May are re-releases. So, my split personality created a pen name Maria Jane for my romance series, kind of separate the YA content from the adult content. And so we're re-releasing them under the Maria Jane pen name. May and April, and then the new book in the series, Perfect Secrets, comes out in June.
Now, because I had a question about that. When you're writing as Maria Jane, are you thinking as an individual Maria Jane, or do you know that I'm Trisha, this is just Maria Jane stuff? So, in other words, is there like a compartment? Is there like a separate part of your brain, or a separate space in your brain for Maria Jane? Then, or is it all Trisha? It's just that Maria Jane is so that the idiots can have a place to, separate the two types of books.
I guess it is a different. I mean, I compartmentalize. Fantasy.
That's the word. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, I couldn't say that. So let's all practice saying that.
Compartmentalize.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
There's a space for fantasy, and then there's another space for the contemporary romance that has no witches or vampires or any of those things, only like hard, real things in our world. So I do have to kind of separate those so they don't leak into each other and I forget who I'm writing about.
Yeah, I'm going to ask you another question about the book series that probably requires you to give away too much. So don't give away too much, even though I'm asking.
Yeah, make them buy the book. Make them buy the book.
Make them buy the book and call their libraries and tell the libraries to put the books, because I'm under the impression that every romance novel has to end with a happy ending. So you can't do that in a series because you want to leave it with a cliffhanger. So technically, it's not a romance novel, right?
But in these romances, so every book has a different character set. So you follow a different character in each book. So it's not like a chronological series. It's a series that shows different friends in this group. They met in college and they're now out in the world in their careers and they're finding their happy ever afters, right? So you see a different character in each book.
That's what I want to talk about, this happily ever after. Where's mine? And it talks about that. I think the happiest moment, and you can slap me if you want. The happiest moment for women is when a guy asks her, right? The guy has to get down on his knee and ask. That's the happy. Everything after that is downhill. It's just the guy getting down on his knees and begging, "Will you be with me forever?" And then that's a power moment, and then everything after that is just, it goes to hell, right? That's
no, I wouldn't say that.
No,
I think my wedding was very happy. So
your wedding.
The wedding after the engagement, right?
You said my wedding. The wedding.
No, well,
yes.
the marriage has been good too. So
yeah, but not great. Not just I'm just teasing. No, see, because this is what I'm thinking. It's the when they get down on the knee, like the guy is thinking this is the last time I'm going to beg for anything, and the woman is thinking you've just begun to beg.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying that out loud, and my wife can hear me. And she goes, "Oh, you're going to be begging for forgiveness."
That's it.
But
she's expecting that to be the norm. Like, get used to that, and he's thinking this is my last time, and this is where everything goes to hell.
Yeah, I'm just being a humorist. I'm not conveying real thoughts and or opinions.
Well, you just said your marriage is going well too. So the next question is obviously a yes, but I'm very curious about the state of monogamy, because Rhonda has a theory that everybody is bisexual and open marriages and all this stuff. Monogamy, I don't. And this started when I was 15 years old. I was in a side room. My friend's parents were arguing because he got caught cheating. He came out and he looked at me. I was standing with his son, and he just looked at us and said, men are not cut out for monogamy. Men are not designed for monogamy. That has stuck with me. But the older I get, the more I think it's true. Is this a one-sided deal where women believe in monogamy and men don't?
I don't think so. My husband doesn't think that way, and I know other men who don't think that way.
Can we get him on? Without you,
he's not here right now, but
he's in the room back. He's in the soundproof room backstage. Let's bring him out now. No. Yeah, so okay.
Well, the reality is, and like she was saying, there are guys that are monogamous, and then that just like that, and there's other people that are, E&Ms or polys or whatever you want to call. It's like whatever fits, whatever works for you. And if both people are good with it, what does it matter?
That's it. I'm just one who believes in nurturing the relationship. So whatever it takes to nurture that relationship, I think a relationship is a living, breathing thing.
Yeah, and I may not be like monogamous or whatever the fuck you want to call it, but I can't stand poly people either, because it's like, come on.
So make a choice. And you hate everybody.
No, what I'm saying is that if you're going to go, because poly people will tell you, like, I only pick this person because they like backgammon. Then I pick this person because they only play poker. It's like they're taking every little thing, then they build this like tree of people, and you have to go see one person to get what you want. That's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, no. So
and that's one person for that too.
Yeah. You can't
the concept of perfect for me, right? It's such a difficult and I hate to kind of just be this way, but I am this way. It's finding a level of faults that you can accept along with your own faults, right? That's how would you define perfect?
I think so. And definitely this book shows that in different situations, like a different person may be better for you. Perfect has 5 parts in it, and it begins with like her high school sweetheart proposing to her. And then in the second part, she thinks, well, maybe I'm selling myself short here. Maybe there's something else for me. And she makes a different decision. And in that different decision, there's a different person that is perfect for her. And it goes throughout the book, showing that in different stages of life, in different circumstances, different people may be a perfect fit. So I kind of wanted to show that, sometimes your life goes sideways in a way you don't expect it to, or you make a different decision. And sometimes it feels like everything is over, like you've lost everything. But I tried to show that there could be someone coming that's the right person, and you shouldn't lose hope when things go sideways. They're just different, right?
Yeah. So that's not really I don't know. Perfect is an illusion then, because it's perfect for this moment, but not perfect is not a enduring thing. It doesn't last.
Well, it could
Right?
last too. I mean, they could both equally be true, right? It could, yeah.
Yeah. If it was marriage, the idea of marriage, because a lot of this is about popping the question. You're talking about getting married. The happily ever after means marriage. Doesn't mean just shacking up.
Probably to most people, but like you said, as long as each person is happy in the relationship and that's what they decide on, then better for them.
Was it invented by women?
Security. You have to trust that it's not that you need that person there all the time or that you want them there all the time, but you trust that when you do need them and you do want them, they are available to you.
Right. I think, and I'm trying to think for everybody, and I shouldn't think for everybody. I should try to think for myself just once. But all right, I will say this as it just applies to me and me only. I think that we tend to think that being together, being in a relationship, a one-on-one relationship, is a woman's idea. And if it weren't for women inventing that we would just assume. But I always like, why do guys want to get married? Why do guys want to seek out that one-on-one relationship? Where does that come from? And I don't know. I don't know where the desire to be in a one-on-one relationship is, because it goes against biology. A man's biology is telling him just go spread your seed every way you possibly can, and your eyes are always, oh wow, look at that. So, but at some level, I fell in love and asked my wife to marry me. And like, where does that come from? What made me do that? And that's that's the question that I have.
Well, it's different each time, because I'm pretty sure the first time you got engaged, somebody probably from their deathbed said, "You're getting married," and that came from a different place. That came
didn't
from
last. That lasted 6.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but it was still something that meant you did it under, that circumstance.
Under duress, yes.
But it's also human nature for humans to be interested in other humans and to put on this block because a guy in a church dresses like some mascot. You got to go by these rules. No, it's what works for you.
I'm sorry, Trish. You probably didn't realize you're stepping into a marriage therapy session.
You are.
Well, if you think
isn't that the purpose of writing these books, is to kind of help people figure this out?
Yeah, well, and if you think about it in evolutionary terms, if you have a wife that protects your kids and helps you protect your kids and helps you raise your kids and helps them be as healthy as they can be, then that actually helps you as a man, because your kids are healthier and can produce kids, right? So if you're giving something up by taking a wife and not having other wives or other relationships, but then your kids are benefited, then that helps you in evolutionary terms, right? So that's the counterpoint, maybe. I don't know.
I think and forgive me if this sounds like totally misogynist, a lot of little girls grow up just dreaming of the day, the wedding, the pageantry of it. I don't know that a lot of guys even consider that. I know the first marriage I had was in a church, and backstage somebody said to me, "Are you ready for this?" I said, "I don't think so. I don't think I'm supposed to be doing this today." Oh, everybody gets so good. Blah, blah, blah. They give me the speech to go out there and go through with it. But the day itself was just like hell for me. My second marriage, I said, "No, I'm not doing that. I'm just going down to the beach. Let's just go down to the beach, call the pastor, tell him to come down there and whatever." But women, they want that. The day is important to them. The pageantry, I know that's a generalization, but in a large sense,
my wife and I got married on the beach, and that's what she wanted.
On my beach?
I thought it was your beach because it smelled like Caesar, but
I don't get it. Okay.
You had this thing about Caesar earlier about
I did.
This,
I did.
Yeah.
I never did. What about that though? Because it's got to be a letdown if you're just concentrating on from the day you're a little girl to the day you get married. You're concentrating on I'm queen for a day, that kind of thing. That's setting yourself up for a letdown. Oh, he's just the next day.
I don't know, maybe so. Yeah, I never was like really looking for. I mean, I was looking forward to being married, but I don't think I ever was like the kind of person who was like, "Oh, this is gonna be the best day ever." And it was a good day, but I think, yeah, but there are definitely, and there are people who can make those dreams come true, from the perfect, dress to the perfect event. And I guess, but yeah, I think everybody has their different ideas of what suits them. I wasn't really, I don't like being in front of crowds, so I didn't love it that much.
So,
now, does Maria like it? Does Maria Jane like being in front of crowds?
We've never seen a wedding yet in one of the books, so that's an interesting thing. We always get to the proposal, and then that's the ending of the book.
See, that comes back to the power dynamic there. Get down on your knees and beg me. But she did look forward to that proposal thing. Like that was a big thing, right? That's and this is not Maria Jane. This is Christina Benjamin, right? Oh no, no. That it is Maria Jane. Maria Jane is not the protagonist, right? Chloe.
Maria Jane is the pen name that she used.
Right.
That's what I thought. So Chloe is the protagonist.
Chloe's the protagonist in this book. Yes.
Yeah, it's so confusing. I'm so confused. Oh,
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
It's not you. It's not you.
It's not you.
It's not you.
Yeah. Is there some humor in these books?
Oh, definitely. I like having them fun and light when I write my romances, and that's partly why I write them, because in the fantasy books, like, bad things have to happen to my characters, but in the romances, the worst thing that happens is somebody gets broken up with, right? So, yeah, fun, humor, interesting, episodes.
Anybody become a stalker?
I haven't had that yet.
See, I think you're avoiding reality, because I'm sorry, but I think a lot of dudes, because I have a friend who she got together with this young man, and I thought this guy was just he was just a great kid. He just seemed like he had so much sincere heart and a gentleman to him. And now I found that she's got an order of protection again. She broke up with him, and now she has an order of protection against him. So it's like, I'm shocked by that. But it turned out he became a stalker. And I think every guy has that potential, because this was the nicest kid I ever came across, and I was like, wow, look at this! I'm so happy for you. You found such a great young man. Didn't work out, and now he's a stalker. I just feel like there's a lot of that going on. Those guys who don't handle breakups well.
Well, nobody talks to each other either. It's through text, or they just won't fucking talk. So you always wind up in situations like this because the guys can't let it go, and no one says anything, and it just escalates and escalates.
Does when it gets to the drama stuff, do you include any of that kind of obsessiveness in romance novels, or you try to stay away from that?
I haven't included a lot of that. I did have one character who didn't want to let the relationship go and was kind of telling the girl that, he was the best choice and that she should choose him rather than choosing the other guy. And so I did have one scene like that, I have to say.
Do you believe in love at first sight?
I think I do. Yeah. I mean, the first time I saw my husband, I thought, wow, he's super cute. And he wasn't really dressed nice, or he wasn't he wasn't like movie star looking, but.
Yeah, but is that love, or is that just admiring a piece of art?
I think there must be some type of chemistry, because he's not like movie star looking, good looking, So it's probably not love. You're right. It's probably attraction or
It was described to me as infatuation by a girl's grandmother. When I was like 19 years old, I had one of these. Whoa, look at her. She was looking at me. It was like we both, and from across a very crowded event at a beach stuff, we caught each other's eyes, and I could tell that she had something I was standing next to a garbage can, and she had something she wanted to throw out, but she didn't want to come over there because it felt like she was going to give me the impression. Ended up, I mean, there was a very hot romance there, but I got to meet her grandmother. And her grandmother said, "You're just infatuated. You gotta kind of ease up on this. You're both so young. You have to learn the difference between infatuation. When you get that kind of look across the room, that person's for me. That always leads to infatuation." That's what the grandmother. She was right. I mean, it didn't work out, but I definitely believe. See, this is the romantic in me.
Now, see, Matt. So you only got half the story. That's what the grandmother said to you. This is just infatuation. It'll pass. What the grandmother said to her was, "This man is all wrong. just dump him. Just dump him. I'll tell him it's infatuation and it won't last."
No,
but in your heart, you know he's
that's actually the opposite of true. See, you just go assuming things. The grandmother
I made it up. I didn't assume. I just made it up out of whole cloth.
The grandmother invited me to move into her house while her granddaughter was all the way upstate in New York.
Okay, so it sounds like a cougar incident. No, I'm just teasing.
Yeah, it could have been a little bit of that, but I don't know. There's also the point of being very young, and sometimes you have to go through a lot of crap before you can make a good decision about who you want to spend the rest of your life with. I think we have youth will compel us to kind of want to make those decisions sooner than like you talked about the high school.
Don't you think marriage is pitched wrong too? Like the pitch is all wrong because people always go into it like, yeah, this is for life. Maybe you shouldn't put that much pressure on it right away. Maybe just like, all right, we're together. We've made this choice. Now let's make it better. Not like this is end all be all.
So to change the vows from till death do us part till how about next Wednesday?
Stop putting so much dumb pressure on it because it's a piece of paper in the end.
I think that there's a lot of pressure from death to us part till next Wednesday. That
license should be like a car registration. It should last for 10 years and you get to revisit it. No,
maybe you have to for certain people because certain people they just aren't built like that because they don't talk to each other.
Or 7 years because that's when the 7 year like the 7-year itch. Okay, the 7-year itch is here. How do you feel? Can you do 7 more years?
But also for GD and Matt, they came up during the time when there wasn't Tinder and things like that around either. So like
there wasn't tenderness or tenderness.
your options are just more now.
All right. I think we had the back page of the Village Voice. That's what we had.
Yeah.
Send me a Polaroid to this PO box, and we'll meet up in 2 weeks.
Yeah. So, Tricia, with it again, I don't want to give too much away. First of all, one more time, buy the books. Go and call your libraries and tell them to put the books in the library because that helps people. The series, the one that's coming out in June, that's the end of it, or it's going to be more. It's going to be 5 eventually.
I can keep going with this series because, like I said, each book highlights a different relationship or a different main character set. So, and they're all friends in this friend group. So there's many more friends for many more romances.
Is there cross-pollination in the friend group? So like if Chloe is with, let's say, Chuck, this book, Chloe could be with, let's say, Bill in another book.
Yeah.
We haven't had that yet. So yeah.
Because that was rampant. I mean, that was the reality in my high school. We had like a clique and people would be like cross-pollinating all the time.
I think once you get older, it seems like it maybe happens less. I don't know.
Yeah.
He can't get any older.
More possessive, I guess.
You can't get any older.
You have more possessions. It's like when you get older, it's like, okay, I don't want them sleeping in my old bed. So,
it's because I always feel like in some way a protagonist is some kind of reflection of the author. But if you're having different character sets in there, I wonder if that's like the main characters change in this series, right? So
Right.
is that any of that true? Like any of this stuff based on your experiences, or you don't want to say?
Well, I mean, especially in when you're writing contemporary, I mean, a character may be a mishmash of people I've known, and mixing different traits and personality types for characters is always fun, and based on their backstory or their life experience and how they've dealt with that and how they deal with it in their lives.
Any hot sex in these books?
No, it's a fade to black book, so you get some kind of sexy scenes, but you don't see the whole, I guess, the whole intimacy piece.
I didn't realize all your characters are black. I just thought those were silhouettes on the cover.
Oh no, it's well, I do have some black characters in one of the books.
You said fade to black. I thought you'd like
fade to black, yeah. But it's a multicultural friend group. So Chloe is Asian American, Bree and As Close to Perfect is black, and then we have some Hispanic characters in Perfect Office Pact with Mira. So I like to have my friend group represent all different cultures.
Yeah, okay, so your book couldn't be a Lifetime movie then, because Lifetime movies, I'm just teasing. Hallmark, it couldn't be a Hallmark movie.
No, it'd be a Death Time movie.
Yeah, my wife reads the paranormal romance novels, and they're very
She has
graphic.
those too. She has those too.
They're very graphic. She doesn't like the silky fold stuff.
The whole I'm in love with a vampire, I'm in love with the ghost stuff. This is like, I don't get I don't think you would.
So much more than that, though.
Yeah,
and
but coming back to the whole gender thing, I don't think you'd ever see a guy like I'm in love with a female ghost.
You haven't seen Ron with his clothes off. He's as close to a werewolf as we're going to have in the natural world.
Wait a minute. So you're saying you have seen Ron?
I'm just picking on Ron.
You're saying you have seen Ron with his clothes off?
Just pictures, not in the flesh. Just
here, I'll
photos.
send one to the group chat right now.
No, that's why I don't open your text. Or anyway, yeah, that whole. But from a marketing perspective, because I think you would get more of a male audience, right, reading it if there was a lot of sex in it, or if you marketed it that way. Or am I wrong?
I don't know. I think there are some men that like reading romances. There's probably not as many percentage of males that read romances as there are females. Yeah, I don't know what the difference is, just like the difference in preference for what you like to read.
Guys read 50 Shades of Grey because it was told that this thing was really steamy. I didn't read it, but I know guys who did read it, and the reason they wrote it was because their wife was getting or girlfriend was getting all hot and bothered by it. Like, wait, I got to check.
That's like a PG novel. You got to go better than that.
Really?
Yeah. You have to go Magic Mike XXX.
I thought that was kind of. I think the movie was softened up, but I thought the book was kind of X-rated.
No, I mean the shit that my wife reads makes 50 Shades look like a Winnie the Pooh story.
So she's reading Penthouse Forum. She's not reading an actual book.
No, it's paranormal romance.
Oh, paranormal romance. Yeah, that's a vampires, man. I got
or the Mafia is popular too. Mafia.
Yeah. Do you put a lot of time into pre-thinking character development, all that stuff before you start writing?
I do, yes. I develop backstories and origin stories for all of my characters, and a lot of which may not even go into the book, but every piece of information I have about that character will dictate how they react to things that are come up in the books. So, and how they react to challenges and how they interact with people. So I want to know all of that before I start writing them.
One of the questions that GD likes to ask authors, and I borrowed it from him the other day and got a really surprising answer that we've never gotten on this program. He likes to ask authors about if it were made into a movie, if and when it gets made into a movie, who stars in the roles. Do you think in those terms? When do you see it as a movie?
I do see it as a movie when I write, and when I first started writing, even more so, my writing was more like a screenplay, and I had to learn to make it more novelish, I guess. But I do see things as I'm writing. I see it like a movie in my head, and then I have to kind of massage it to put the words with it, I guess.
The answer I got the other day to who would star in your, if and when this gets made into a movie, was I would want it to be an unknown, a breakthrough role for somebody we've never heard of before. And I generally like, wow, that was kind of mind blowing, because I would think you see this kind of like you draw the character around a certain image, and then you already have them in your mind, and who would be perfect to play that. It was just a surprising answer to me. Do you have people picked out, like in your mind, like the first book of the series here, Perfect Series? Would you know who the guy proposing and Chloe are?
No, I don't think in those terms, I guess. I don't like think, oh, this actor and this actress would be. I mean, I could probably name. I'm not very good with names, so I could probably name some, and in hindsight, but I don't think I thought of it in the beginning, because I think especially if you have like new characters, maybe why you don't want those big stars is because people bring baggage of those stars' former movies or former roles into the new story. So if they have a certain perception of an actor or an actress, that may color what they think about this new movie that you're bringing out, or new show that you're bringing out. So having that breakout artist or actor, actress would not lead into that preconceived notions of what this is going to be like.
Yeah. It's for me, I've never experienced it because I can't finish a book, so it doesn't matter. Have you thought about, because most people who are authors, and I should ask you, but I think you would probably agree, at some level you would love to see it made into a movie. Have you thought about going back to not rewriting the book as a screenplay, but doing your own kind of adaptation for screenplays to help movie makers be inclined to make it?
Right. Yeah, I did take a course on screenwriting. Now it's funny. I always say this year, but it was last year. And it's so interesting how converting, even as an author, converting your own book to a screenplay is just an amazing process, because it kind of turned out not nothing like the book, but pretty different, because you have to condense it down to this one plot line with these very small group of characters, especially for an hour and a half movie format. So it was an interesting process. It was fun though, and it kind of stretched my writing abilities, I guess.
Right. You have your own podcast, right?
I do, yes, the Finding the Magic podcast.
Finding the Magic. Now you talk to authors who are they all like romance authors, or
no, I talk to all different kinds of authors, indie authors to self or traditionally published authors, horror, romance, fantasy. So yeah, I just like introducing new authors and new books to readers. So that's the main point for the authors to talk about their books. So
do you often suggest to your audience that authors should the audience should call their public library and insist on, even tell them that you want to read it and order it, and then even if it's not something you're interested in, just to get the library? I think it's a great, and we've seen some authors say it's actually made a difference for them. They've gotten some bump out of it because libraries are ordering books. It's a good thing. It's a good promotional thing, because it's so hard. The publishing industry is so hard right now to kind of stand out with just AI is like really ruining things for everybody on this level, is that they're making self-publishing like 800 million titles a day or something crazy like that. It makes it really hard to stand out. And we have to do anything we can to kind of push back and keep people who are actually putting the human effort into it, keep their books visible and all that kind of stuff. So, the podcast, when does it come out? Do you do it weekly, monthly?
I do. It's every Tuesday and Thursday. A new episode releases. No, not Tuesday and Thursday. Tuesday and Friday.
Right.
I remember what
Tuesday
I do.
All right. No, it's not live. You record it and then edit it.
Right. Yes, and it releases on all the major podcast channels as well as YouTube. So.
Yeah. Very cool. Now, authors are like the most supportive of all the creative artists, right? They are. They support each other in a way that you won't see musicians or comedians and backed by. Have you ever come across like nastiness or over competitiveness in the publishing industry?
I haven't. No. Yeah, like you said. I mean, I don't talk to musicians or other types of artists very much, but authors are, because every book, you can't write the same book. I don't think one person could write the exact same book as somebody else. So I think, everybody's just trying to promote and help each other with whatever creative outlet they have. So I don't see I haven't seen any problems.
Yeah, I've thousands of authors. I've only had one instance where a guy was claiming Dan Brown, what was the Da Vinci Code guy. He claimed Dan Brown ripped him off completely, and he's been suing him for years. That's the only animosity I've ever had, seeing like backstabbing with authors. But and that guy seemed to have a pretty good case. He may a couple of years back. I don't remember all the details, but it certainly seemed like, and like in the comedy world, you get joke thieves, the joke thefts. You have plagiarism in music. You don't see, because it's really hard. You just said you can't write. No two people write the same book. It does happen.
Now I want to ask you a question that Matt has asked in the past, and actually recalls the story much better than I do, because I wasn't part of it. But Matt had an encounter with a ghostwriter who did not maintain the ghost part. He came out. They came out as they're like, I'm a ghostwriter. And so do you have encounters on your podcast with ghostwriters? And
I think people know. I mean, I think it's okay. I mean, it depends on your contract, right? If you're the ghostwriter, if you're able to say you're the ghostwriter for so and so, but I definitely have had like A-list authors on my show that said I'm a ghostwriter for so and so. So
yeah.
Or maybe they were in the past. So I guess it really depends on your contract and if you're able to say that you're a ghostwriter for that. But I think that's pretty well-known thing now.
Okay,
so,
now I mean, because you just triggered something in my brain. There it is again. No, so you just triggered something in my brain. And that is, it's okay for people to use a ghostwriter, but people who use AI to write for them is kind of frowned upon.
Well, here there is a little bit of a difference, because I have interviewed.
I want to discuss the difference. Go ahead. Yeah.
I have interviewed several ghostwriters who that's how they make their living. They do a lot of personal interviews, and you tell me the story. I'm just helping you put it in well written form. Grammar's all correct and all that kind of stuff. That's their role, but they do a lot of interpersonal interaction with the person to get to know exactly what AI is. Basically people just type in prompts, and then
so you would not, so having an AI ghostwriter, if you said that your ghostwriter is using AI to write your book, that's I'm sorry.
No, it's different, because AI does not do that. They don't come to your house and sit with you for days, weeks sometimes, and get to really know the story from a personal level. and record it all, and then basically say, "You're telling the story. All I'm doing is
But
helping."
if Alexa were your ghostwriter, because Alexa is in your house for everything you do, and she's listening all the time. So the
Not
thing
my
is, your
house.
ghostwriter might say to you, "So how do you and your wife feel about so and so?" And you might whitewash it, and Alexa will go like, "Oh no, he didn't. That is not what they think. I know
Wow.
both sides, and this is what's going on."
See, Trisha, that's a little plot line you could put in, like to cause this conflict where there's like the breakup and all this stuff. Alexa ratting the dude out. But let me just clarify, because
he rats him up. He rats him up because the woman's Chloe says to Alexa, "Play my song list," and then she plays the boyfriend. Plays the mistress's song list.
He's got his whole romance novel career figured out here. It sounds like he's onto something here, and maybe it's mind bloom that he's onto, but ketamine, whatever. I interviewed an author. She came on, talked about her book and I was asking her about all the research she had done into it and all the writing process and all this stuff. And she was answering it like she did it. 2 weeks later, I had the guy on, and I said, a couple of weeks ago, I had this author on. He said, "Oh yeah, I wrote her book." Like, what? So I don't think he was supposed, because she was playing up interviews as if, and I guess you would do that, but she was playing it up like she was intimately the writing process. She had that. She was talking to me about it like she actually did it, and she didn't do it.
Oh wow, yeah,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Trish.
No, I was going to say that was probably, yeah. I don't think you should misrepresent who is actually doing the work. I mean, it's okay for me to hire someone to write my book or write, that's okay. But I don't think I would have claimed to write it if I didn't write it.
So you wouldn't like have a 12-year-old child. You wouldn't like have a kid who was 12 years old and say, "Mike, my 12-year-old kid wrote the book," and actually you wrote the book and just gave your kid credit.
Yeah. Yes. It's just really awkward when you have had this conversation with the author. She went into very great detail about how she wrote the book, how she researched all of these things. It was a novel based on healthcare, her experience in the healthcare. She was a nurse. And then just for him to blow out, "Oh, yeah, I wrote that." That was just like, and now how this has put me in an awkward position. Do I just act like I didn't hear that? Or did I say, do I question him on it? All that stuff. It's like, oh my God, I hope that never happens to me again. But there are ghostwriters. Anyway, this book has been out before, but it's a re-release. The one in May is also a re-release. I should have had the one in June showing, but I thought the most, because it's in the published date is, I think, April 4th for this one. So I wanted to have the first book that's coming out that they can pre-order. Can they pre-order the entire series?
Yes. So the books that are coming out in April, May, and June are all up for pre-order. And the other two books in the series, As Close to Perfect and Perfect Optics Factor, are already available. So you can get those.
Yeah. The audiobooks. Are you reading them, or are you hired a narrator?
No, I hired a narrator. Yes, I am not that good of a reader. Or I guess speaker, I would say.
That's fair. I think there is a give and take here where you don't have to have the perfect voice. I think for me, and this is just my personal preference, I love when the author reads their own book. They have a much better idea of all the proper inflections of how characters would say something, and it's got to be. Was it at all ever like a very involved process where you go back and forth with, could you read this a little bit like this, or any of that kind of, like, getting it read the way that you hear it?
So in the beginning, I interviewed. So generally, what you do is you send a chapter to a potential narrator, and they'll read it, and you tell them about the character and how you envision it, and they'll read it, and they'll record a sample for you, and then you get to evaluate different samples to pick out the narrator that you think fits your work best. And so that's what I did in the beginning. And then with the different characters, I would give her a list of all the characters, like their background, their nationality, their culture, so she would know, how they would sound. And then she would record a little bit of each character and then send that to me and say, is this right? And I would say yes or no, or make this person, Russian or whatever. So that it wasn't a hard process for me.
Wow. You're very prolific. I'm looking here at the trailers. So every single trailer on the website is for, oh no, there's two for the Bay Rogue, right? Oh no. So every single trailer is for a separate book. How many books have you written, published?
I think I'm at 25 now.
Wow.
And that's in the past year.
Yeah. Oh yeah, just this year.
Yeah, just this year.
Incredibly prolific. Are you do you write every single day? Like,
when I'm working on a book, I do. I try, because it just keeps things moving forward quicker, because I remember what I wrote yesterday still and can move forward quicker. But so I usually take 3 to 6 months to write a book, and then sometimes take a break for marketing and all those other things.
So you mentioned before, since you put it out, some people you interview people who are traditionally published. I'm assuming that most of the people who you interview are not, because of the way you phrased that. And I would assume that you are not. Are you traditionally published, or are you self-published?
I'm self-published, yes.
Okay. I you know what? There used to be a stigma with that. I think it's absolutely the best way to go right now. But the reason I'm asking it at this point is because I see all these video trailers. That means you are putting all the effort into, because not every author is doing all video trailers for their books. And you have a lot of them that look very well produced. That's an extra thing that for self-published people, that's a big thing to take on, right?
It is, but I really like doing it. It's just another creative outlet for me to be able to kind of transform my words into graphics and pictures. So, I mean, thank you for saying they look so good, but me and Canva are best friends, and it's fun for me to make those.
Okay, fun is the important part of it, because if it's not fun, it becomes work. But there's a lot of them. There's one for every book. Is it an effective? Obviously, you must think it is effective if you keep doing them. But for a marketing tool, is it effective? Because I don't see a lot of authors putting the time and energy into it. Maybe it's not as fun for them, or it's too much work, or they don't have the resources to outsource it and get it done. But is it an effective marketing tool, do you think?
I think so. I think it just gives readers another way to find your work, and another way to see like what the feel is, and the kind of the aura of your book, for lack of a better term. And just a little, if it fits them, they can see that at a glance, I think.
All right. Yeah. I think more if it's really an effective thing. We got to start pushing it to other authors who don't, because it's not very common. Again, I hate. It sounds like I'm bragging about the number. So many authors I've interviewed, I would say maybe 1 or 2% actually could bother to do that. Even if the ones who are traditionally published, and that's not a lot of them. You don't see a lot of trailers done for them. So if it's an effective thing, we got to tell more people to do it. It's worth the effort. The publishing industry is just really get into it to be a publishing CEO. You got into it because you love writing, right? And in your case, sometimes making videos on Canva. But you don't necessarily take on all the aspects of business administration and all that kind of crap that makes it makes it not fun anymore, right? Does it ever kill your desire?
No, I like creating graphics and videos. The actual, it's like folding the laundry, right? I don't mind putting my clothes in the washing machine, but actually folding them and putting them back is hard. So like once I create a graphic, I'm like, oh, I have to schedule it. And I have to put words with it to put it on social media and all of those
What a
things.
cool
So
analogy. Yeah. Yeah. The business aspect of the publishing business is folding your laundry. I get it, man.
And
Anyway,
putting it away. You can't just fold it, Matt. You got to put it away too.
that's true.
if it weren't for my wife, my drawers would just be like, just take it all, just shove it in there. Don't even bother folding it. You're gonna take it out and iron it anyway. Just ram it all in wherever it'll fit. That's what I would do. I'm hopeless that way. Anyway,
That's how most of my drawers are. So I don't like folding clothes.
See, I'm an habitual folder. I am. In matter of fact, my wife had to stop me from folding her clothes. She goes, "You realize I'm just going to throw them in the drawer, right?" I said, "Let me fold. You can do anything you want after I fold. I don't care. The folding is just something that I need to do. It's not something that she requests me to do or expects me to do. It's just that I see it and it needs to be folded."
It all makes sense now because he took a recent trip to L.A. and he was talking about packing his bags for like 3 days. Like, really? Why you just one bag? You're going for 2 days?
Because I was also packing my own mic, my own microphones.
Right, and you're being a fastidious folder. I know. I saw you.
Anyway.
Yeah. Fastidious. That's the first time I've ever used that word on this show.
You never sang the first time you used it here, but I'm sure you sang the Queen song. Fastidious and precise. She's a killer queen.
All right. Well, Tricia, thank you for being part of the program. We hope people will go to TriciaCopeland.com. The link is in the description, and then call your library and tell them to put all the books, all 25 or however she said, about 25.
Give her her own little rotating thing. Her little book tree. Give her her own little book tree that rotates.
Yeah. Call your libraries. Tell them to order all 25 or about all 25 books.
But keep the Tricia books separate from the Maria books because they don't talk well together. They don't play nice.
What part of the world? I'm assuming you're in the USA. What part of the world are you in?
I'm near Denver.
So with her pets and husband.
Plenty of snow.
Oh, we wish this year, right?
Yeah.
Oh, New York could send you some.
We need some. Please do.
Really? I'd be happy to, because it's going to snow again here Monday. March already. Come on, March. It's supposed to be done.
Pitchers and catchers have already reported. No, I don't know if that's true or not.
That is true. They've been playing games. The spring training league is going.
Oh, okay.
Mets are killing it, man. Anyway, thank you for being part of it.
They're setting you up to break your heart. I just said the Mets are setting up to break your heart. What did you did to that? I'm sorry. I must have hurt Matt in some way. I'm sorry, Matt.
All right, that's better. All right, Tricia.
Well, thank you so much.
Putting up with our nonsense. Yeah, you are always welcome back anytime if you want to come around June when the new book is coming out, or people can pre-order it though. They don't have to wait till June. Anyway, Thanks for being here. Have a great day. Enjoy the mountains.
Bye. Thank you so much. You too. Bye.
Bye. Tricia Copeland. Yeah. So you did hurt my feelings there with them because they've been doing very well. And just this morning,
that's because these games don't count.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. They don't mean anything in spring training. But generally, I think if you said, see this, you get in the habit of winning. You get in the habit of winning early. You get in the habit of really just loving the competition. I think it does.
Yeah, but some teams, and this is one of the things I explained this to my wife about when teams played the Patriots back in the day when the Patriots were like this juggernaut. A lot of teams were good, and they actually could beat the Patriots. And then they get to the place where they're about to win, and somewhere the psyche goes, but we can't beat the Patriots. We're just the so-and-sos. And then they collapse. And I said to my, because I was watching one game, and I said to my wife was like, really, I can't watch this anymore. I said, honey, there's still a quarter left. I said, this team does not believe that they're worthy of beating the Patriots. They're going to collapse. She says, I don't understand. The Patriots are down by 14 points, and there's four minutes left in the game. And I said, I said they could fumble the kickoff. You know, the Patriots are about to kick off to them. They could fumble the ball, and the Patriots get the ball back. And sure enough, that is exactly what happened. And my wife says, "How did you know?" I said, "I didn't know. I just know that team doesn't believe they can beat the Patriots, and they had to sabotage themselves somehow."
Or the Giants were too stupid to know that they were supposed to lose.
That's also, that's another thing. You don't know that you get there and nobody told you that you can't win.
Right.
You know, it's like, who was it that beat Mike Tyson? Was that Buster Douglas?
Buster Douglas, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, he's like, what do you mean I can't beat him? Of course I can. All I gotta do is hit him real hard, right? Real hard left.
It didn't help that Tyson smoked a bag of weed before he got in the ring that night. But he was all stoned out. But
that's his fault. That's his fault.
I know. It is fault.
It's
he didn't really prepare for that fight.
All you gotta do is beat whoever shows up.
You know how the pre-fight stuff, they're showing him training really hard. They showed Mike feeding the pigeons. That's how you train for this fight, to feed the pigeons. That was predictable.
You got to beat. Look, I used to box. You beat whoever shows up.
The pigeons. You beat the
pigeons. Show up. If the pigeons show up, you can look. I
don't tolerate animal abusers on my program. I'm sorry.
I was boxing. I was just back when I was in amateur boxing, and I had to box a woman. And she was about. I was like 5'6", 5 foot. I was 5'6", soaking wet. She was 6 foot tall, long reach, and good.
5'6", soaking wet.
Yeah,
well, even in dry, you were the same.
I know. I'm mixing metaphors on purpose. So she was about 6 foot, and she had a long reach. Good. Otherwise, she couldn't look. If she weren't a good boxer, she wouldn't be boxing with the men, okay, or with the boys. We were boys, and it only went 3 rounds. It was 3 rounds. The first 2 rounds, I couldn't hit her. Not I couldn't and I wasn't able to. I couldn't hit her because I was raised not to hit women. And I'm sitting there, and she is cleaning my fucking clock because she didn't have any problem with hitting boys. And between the second and third round, my coach looks at me and goes, "Look, Glenn, she's kicking your ass." I said, "I can't hit her back. She's a girl." He goes, "When you go to school on Monday, you're going to be one of 2 people. You're going to be the guy who won his fight or the guy who lost his fight to a girl. Which guy do you want to be on Monday?" I went out in the third round, and I knocked her out with 1 punch.
I know how it feels. I've got beat up by a girl my very first day in school, kindergarten.
Black girl.
Yeah.
And that gave you like chocolate fever ever since.
Rosemary Bechtel. She still wants to beat me up just out of habit. Just for old time's sake, just to beat me up.
Well, I mean, all the disparaging things you have said about snowplow drivers, no wonder.
Oh yeah. She's probably a snowplow driver. She does probably what she does for a living. That's fucking mad. I'll show him. I'll show him. Where does he live? I will plow every house on Long Island until I find where that little bastard lives.
She lives in Atlanta now. I don't think she's snowplowed. You don't get a whole lot of snow.
Oh, somebody's so paranoid he makes sure she doesn't live nearby.
That would be a good job to have a snowplow driver in like Miami Beach.
Right? You know, it would be like the Flintstones and being a volunteer fireman in the Flintstones.
That's Sunshine again. She's trying to push the Notebook on me. I've resisted this whole Notebook. Isn't that, you said, a great love story? Isn't that a tearjerker? Isn't that one where they all cry at the end? Everybody cries.
No, you think the tearjerker is the one about masturbation. You just do it till you cry. That's the tearjerker.
Yeah, that's nice.
I had to say it before Ron said it. Ron was about to say it. I was like, no, I'm gonna preempt Ron.
I don't get it. Whatever. Anything?
We have not heard from their fan club in a while. I'm starting to feel unloved because I don't know how it ended. I don't know what their last impression of me. I don't know how.
I think they stopped. They just stopped because they thought we were gaining some momentum, and maybe we were getting some extra. I don't think we were getting any kind of real bounce from it, though.
I didn't. I got hate mail. I did get an increase in hate mail, but that's it.
I think they stopped because they thought they were adversely or accidentally giving us more traffic, and they didn't want to do that. That's what
I think they stopped because they realized I wasn't as bad as they were making me out to be.
Oh no,
and the audience was figuring
it
out.
No, that's not true.
Yeah, I think that's it. Especially when because some of his comments just start like, oh, I think I'm starting to get what he's doing. See, and I heard him say that. I think I'm starting to understand what he's doing.
Wow.
So I think that's what happened. I think he couldn't, like, in good conscience, keep doing what he was doing.
Well,
but I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just pulling that out of my ass, just like the trees and the cards that I pulled out earlier.
Leave it in your ass. Leave it in. Put it back up your ass.
It's only one way. It's one way.
It's all exit only.
Exit only. Unless you're my doctor, and then I'm paying her to do it.
Well, we do not. It's not Honda, dopey. I didn't ask for Honda. Here's the deal. I got a Mazda Tribute, and the passenger side rear taillight broke, and you can't buy it. They stopped making it. It's not on the market. Mazda doesn't supply it, and if you go online to parts stores, they only have the left one, the driver's side one. Nobody has the right one, and so.
What about a salvage yard?
That's what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to call every salvage yard in America to see if they have one. But I can't get the car's due for inspection. It won't pass inspection. It's like I got to get rid of the car because I can't. Nobody sells this light anymore. There's got to be a law against that. No, there should be a law against that. Like, you can't just leave somebody at the mercy of an inspection sticker. Because you can't get an inspection. You can't pass inspection without the light. They're not making the light anymore.
That is a sticky wicket.
Yeah, you don't care about me. You don't care that I.
No, I didn't. Look, I wouldn't.
You don't care. Look at how cold you are.
You are so
cold.
If I didn't care, would I suggest salvage yards?
I don't know that song.
If I didn't care, I don't know if that's the Ink Spots or what.
It's funny that you mentioned that because there's a salvage yard close to my parents' house that caught fire the other day. And you want to talk about the smell of plastic and burnt electrical in the air. Woo!
Well, what am I going to do? I'm going to have to get rid of the car, right? I'm going to have to abandon it.
Ink spots. That's right. If I didn't care, the ink spots.
If I didn't love you by the fire, would you make me feel?
That's Squeeze.
I don't know.
Squeeze.
Okay.
That's the sign there. Oh. If I didn't love you.
I don't know.
That's Squeeze.
What do you guys? Ron has a show tonight, right? Or
tomorrow night at Laughing Stock.
Laughing Stock.
Yep, 8:30. Ben Frank is the headliner. Tickets, Laughing Stock, CC.
Ben Frank?
Yep.
Ben Frank has been on the program a couple of times. He's been doing some really interesting stuff with the social media stuff. He's not posting stand-up bits. He's writing little bits and acting about production stuff. Tell him we want him back on the program. He should come back on the program. Just tell him that when you see him. Next week, I think I know on Friday we got Tom Farrell, who was a New York-based comedian who is now really doing well with this internet series, Facebook social media series. Make It Make Sense, and he's traveling around looking at architecture and finding some really weird, kinky stuff in some of these old buildings and stuff. But I find it interesting that he goes out of town. He's out of New York, and he's filming his stuff. There's Make It Make Sense videos that he's doing. And you hear somebody, "Hey, are you that guy who says Make It Make Sense?" He's getting recognized off of Facebook stuff. So, you know what? Facebook celebrity. That's the world we live in. People are going to be social media stars, right? There's a lot of fake ones, a lot of AI created. Especially these pinup girls, right? That's what I'm calling pinup. That's how old I am. I call them pinup girls. You don't even know what I'm talking about. Neither one.
Yeah. They were like the dinglings of the 40s.
My dingling.
Like Greta Garbo
Betty Grable.
Betty Grable was on this. They pinned her on the side of a lot of airplanes during World War II.
Right. You remember that? Good for you.
Well, not remember. It's not like I was there.
You do remember. You were there.
Okay, I remember.
All right. You don't have any shows this weekend? What are you doing? You're preparing the rev for "Rock Me on the Water" with the greatest spiritual ever written. Right?
By Jackson. That's the greatest spiritual by Jackson Brown ever written by Jackson Brown.
Do we know that for a fact? Because I forgot to do my research.
Yeah. So this weekend I am editing the Randy Levin episode, and I will be, like I said, and I'll be writing for the Reverend for Sunday.
So basically, you were like
I'm ghostwriting for the Reverend.
Yeah, but also with the editing and going to put out the new material, you're kind of poking that blind Mike engine to say, "Look, I've got more stuff for you," right?
Well, I have more. I told him when he was on the show that I had like 3 or 4 90-minute specials that he hadn't seen yet. He was still stuck on the first one. So
I want to dare blind Mike to have G.D. Fenderson on his show. They're
not watching. They're not listening, and he's not going to have me on.
Oh, I think he does. I think
you think he does watch.
He's a closet listener. He's a closet listener to this program.
I don't think he does anything in the closet. And
he doesn't know he's in the closet because he's blind. He thinks he's in the bathroom, and that's why.
That's got to stink. Because you can't flush your closet.
No, and don't walk
except for in England because they call it a water closet. But here.
And
why is this carpet all mushy?
Don't walk into his closet 5 seconds after he walks out.
And all you hear is
schlock.
The light a match thing, that doesn't really work. It just makes it stink like sulfur and shit, right?
Well, at lighting a match, if you burn the stuff too. Otherwise, because it'll clean up the air, but if there's still more dirt to come back, you have to get rid of the source.
What about keeping the candles burning? Does that diffuse things?
It does. Actually, it burns up the old molecules, the molecules that contain the
Julius
source of the scent. Huh?
You're burning Julius Caesar right out of your nostrils? Is that what?
Not out of your nostrils. You're burning it out of the air so it doesn't go in the nostrils. What's in the nostrils stays in the nostrils. That's the first rule of Nostril Club.
I'm just gonna bury myself in Fenneman for the weekend. You ever see a guy buried in Fenneman?
Oh my God, Ron, you don't want to talk to Matt after he's had a Fenneman session.
A feminine? No, not a feminine.
No, because this is. I just learned this about. I'm just putting this together. I know that I talk, but a lot of times I'm talking to try to get to solutions. Matt is talking to get to more questions.
That's right.
Yeah, Matt, he does not. He's not trying to get the solutions. He doesn't give a shit about your solutions. He wants the next question, and I really want to find a solution to things.
I'm just.
And so Matt will listen to this feminine guy all weekend. This feminine AI guy, and then he'll come back on Monday and go like, I couldn't believe the things he says make my brains hurt. It's like now I got all these other questions. Before I wasn't questioning the questions, but now I got these questions that I question, and I have all these questions about the questions and no answers. But I don't care about the answers, but the questions. Oh my God, the questions.
Somebody is. I see somebody bitching about your suggestion about time traveling from Mars and back. Remember, you were on that asteroid thing and hopping aboard an asteroid, and somebody just commented on that just as we're speaking right now. Said all good until that asteroid smacks into a planet or another.
Well, that's what I said. We can predict the routes of asteroids. So why wouldn't they? If they have the ability to predict the routes of asteroids, not true. People, there's so much space out there. You people don't realize how hard it is for another object to crash into an object. I'm not saying it doesn't.
Let me my buddy Richard Feynman. He says
the feminine guy.
More space all the time because this is one of the things that made me.
The universe is expanding.
The Big Bang was not a big bang. There was no bang. It was just expansion. So, and there was no space. And then he said, think of the universe like a raisin bread, and the raisins are getting further and further apart, and then the more bread is growing in between them as yeast spread. That's basically. So he said the misconception about the Big Bang being like some big tiny spark that just exploded, boom. It wasn't that. It's just more expansion. So more space is being created. So when you say there's so much space out there, yeah, there is, but tomorrow there's going to be more.
And make sure when you stop in a Deep State Pizza, you order your expansion pizza right away.
So that's what I'm saying about the asteroid. It's the asteroid. I'm not saying that it's impossible to hit something, but it's really, really unlikely that it's going to hit something. And if you already plotted out the course, like I said, if we can plot out the course of asteroids with our limited knowledge.
It depends. If there's an Asian guy driving it, it's probably gonna.
They're not driving the asteroid. The asteroid, yeah, and they probably have. Now, granted, they probably don't have a bunch of smart black women to plot the like we did back in the '60s before we had computers, you know. But they probably have something close to a smart black woman, black female mathematicians that can plot the courses.
All right. I guess we'll end this fucking thing. Just put us out of our misery. In the meanwhile, I'm going to ask more. I love asking. I'm getting more closer to. I feel like Fenneman is preparing me to die. That's what I feel like. And Carl Sagan. They're preparing me to die. They're giving me a prerequisite course on preparation for death. So I appreciate everything, even though they're 38-year-old lectures or whatever. I like to ask them more questions and be. And
you may not. I don't know if you know whether or not those AI things are accurate transcriptions or not. If somebody didn't tweak something, or if AI didn't goop something up, like mistake two words that were homonyms and go like, oh, they still sound the same. I don't know. I don't watch AI. I will not watch an AI thing.
I do not eat AI. I will not eat them, Sam. I do not like green eggs and ham.
Yeah, I don't do the AI. So are you doing anything? Because you asked me, you asked Ron, are you doing something this weekend?
Oh, you don't want to know what I'm doing.
You're right, I don't. But I was being polite to ask.
Yeah. I do have a paint party tomorrow, but I'm not looking forward to it. Yeah.
You say that about every paint party. Tell me about how it's going to end. Not
well,
what you think.
Most of them end good. Most of them do end good, but it's the traveling. My wife said, you just got to take them, just say no to anything that is 70, 80, 90 miles away and just take stuff but nobody's offering anything out here in the sticks. I would love it.
Then have it at your house. Do it at your house.
The problem is, you can't offer me something because I can't say no. This is the problem.
You can say no. We know that because you said no to the show that we put together.
No.
Yeah, the coffee, the
I
dog
can't say
thing.
no. No, I can't say no. No.
Yeah, you can say no because we said let's do a coffee at the dog comedy show, and you go, I don't want to host. No, you can find somebody. No, find somebody. I don't want to do it. No.
Well, let me just. Okay, I'll modify. I can't say no if there were paychecks.
You can't say no to things you want to do.
I can't. I know things I don't want to do. If anything with a paycheck, though, I can't say no to it. That's the thing. There was no paycheck with that.
Look, all right. See, that kind of hurts me because I did my best to give people some money. I didn't make any money. I tried my best.
No, I don't hold that against you. I just saw that coming.
You did. You just.
I don't see anything being held.
You hurt me more than my mother did when she put me up for adoption.
All right, I want both you guys to get in your snow plows and drive around Nappy. How about that?
listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me.